Listen up. Procrastination isn't just a bad habit, it's a silent assassin of your potential. You're not lazy, you're playing a dangerous game with your future. The clock's ticking, and every second you hesitate is a second stolen from your success. So, how do you break free? First, own your time like it's your life's most precious currency. Because it is. Every minute wasted is a minute you can never get back. Stop acting like you've got forever. You don't. Next, kill your excuses before they get a chance to breathe. I'm too tired. I'll do it later. I'm not ready. Those are lies, masks to keep you in your comfort zone. Recognize them for what they are and refuse to engage. Then smash your overwhelming goals into simple, digestible chunks. Massive tasks paralyze you, but small steps, they build momentum. Progress, no matter how tiny, beats sitting idle. Deadlines aren't just dates on a calendar. They're your battleground. Set ruthless deadlines that leave no room for delay. Pressure isn't your enemy, it's your fuel. Without it, you're just drifting. Your mind is a cunning trickster, prone to overthinking and hesitation. Train it to act before it talks itself out of action. Jump into the fight before doubt creeps in. Movement breeds confidence. Finally, understand this: motivation is fleeting. It's unreliable and unpredictable. Discipline is your weapon, your fortress. Build discipline through relentless habit, through daily commitment. That's how you win. Procrastination dies when you make the decision to dominate your day every day. Stop waiting. Stop doubting. Get up, act, and claim what's yours. Your future is forged in the fire of your present actions. Own it. Owning your time like a boss means treating every single minute of your day as if it's the most valuable resource you have. Because it is. Most people go through life like time is infinite. They wake up, scroll through their phone, waste hours watching nonsense, and then complain that they don't have time to chase their dreams. That's not just lazy, it's self-sabotage. Time is the one thing you can never get back. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose friends and make new ones. But the second that ticks off your clock is gone forever. That's the kind of urgency you need to operate with. When you start seeing time as your most lethal weapon, your mindset changes. You stop tolerating distractions. You stop entertaining people who waste your energy. You stop indulging in the comfort of later. You wake up with purpose. You move through your day like a machine, calculating, effective, and focused. Successful people don't have more hours in a day. They've just mastered the ability to squeeze more out of every hour than everyone else. And that's because they don't let time control them. They dominate it. Think about it. How many hours have you lost in the last week doing nothing? Watching one more episode, checking your feed for the 100th time, telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. Add it up. That's days, maybe weeks of lost progress. If you added just 2 hours of laser, sharp focus every day, that's 60 hours in a month. That's 720 hours in a year. You could build a business, learn a high-income skill, completely transform your body or mindset, just from reclaiming wasted time. Now, here's the brutal truth. Most people don't respect their time because they don't respect themselves. When you have no sense of direction, time feels meaningless. That's why the first step to owning your time is getting serious about your mission. What are you doing this for? What's the goal? You can't dominate your schedule without a reason to wake up and fight. Set goals so big they scare you, so meaningful that wasting even one day feels like betrayal. Once you're clear on your mission, build a system. Time blocking, strict routines, zero tolerance for distraction. Do what it takes. Start your day with intention. Prioritize the hard things first. Be ruthless with how you allocate your time. Protect it like a savage. Say no to anything that doesn't push you forward. That includes mindless entertainment, pointless conversations, and people who drain you. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy life, but enjoyment comes after discipline, not before. People think freedom means doing whatever you want whenever you want. Wrong. Real freedom is being so in control of your time that nothing controls you. That's the goal. That's how you escape the matrix of mediocrity and build a life of dominance. Owning your time is the foundation. Without it, You're just reacting to life. With it, you're creating life on your own terms. So from today, no more, I don't have time. You have the time. You're just not owning it yet. Start acting like every second counts, because it does. Excuses are the soft whispers of weakness that keep you stuck exactly where you are. They're the smooth, convincing lies you tell yourself to justify your lack of action. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm too tired. I'm not ready yet. Or the worst of all, I don't have time. These aren't harmless little thoughts. They're weapons of destruction aimed at your own progress. Every excuse you entertain is a step backward, a decision to stay average, to avoid discomfort, and to remain in a mental prison that you've built for yourself. And let's be honest, no one's holding you back but you. The world owes you nothing. You can cry, complain, or compare, but none of it will make you better. What makes you better is calling yourself out and taking control. The reason excuses feel so real is because your brain is wired to avoid discomfort. It doesn't want pain. It doesn't want effort. It doesn't want to struggle. So it feeds you thoughts that sound reasonable, but underneath it all, they're just sabotage. And the worst part, you believe them. You start operating under the assumption that your excuses are facts, and once that belief takes root, you build your life around limitations that don't even exist. That's how people stay stuck for years, decades even, thinking that they're being realistic, when in truth, they're being ruled by fear, doubt, and laziness. If you want to destroy procrastination, the first battle you need to win is against your own excuses. That means no negotiation with your feelings. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like it. It doesn't matter if it's uncomfortable. Discipline isn't built through comfort. It's forged in resistance. When the voice in your head says, you can't, you respond with action. You get up, you move, and you execute. That's how you win. Not by waiting for the perfect moment, not by trying to feel motivated, but by acting in spite of how you feel. Understand this, every time you make an excuse, you're training yourself to be weak. You're reinforcing a habit of avoidance. But every time you push through, even when it's inconvenient, you're building a warrior mindset. You're telling your brain, we do what needs to be done, no matter what. That's power. That's how leaders operate. They don't allow emotion or distraction to dictate their results. They take responsibility and act relentlessly. Look around. There are people with less talent, fewer resources, and harder lives doing more than you. Why? Because they stopped making excuses. They chose ownership over victimhood. They stopped blaming their past, their environment, or other people. They looked in the mirror and said, it's on me. That's what separates winners from everyone else. Not luck, not intelligence, but the refusal to tolerate their own excuses. From this moment forward, you need to become allergic to your own BS. The second you hear yourself say, I can't, you counter it with, watch me. When you hear it's too hard, you say, that's the point. And when your mind starts bargaining for rest, distraction, or delay, you shut it down cold. Because the truth is, nothing will change until you stop letting excuses run your life. If you want results, you have to become ruthless with yourself. No pity, no softness, just execution. That's how champions are made. Breaking tasks into brutally simple chunks is the secret weapon most people overlook. Everyone talks about goals, visions, and dreams, but very few people talk about execution, because that's where the discomfort begins. And do you know why most people procrastinate? It's not because they're lazy. It's because their goals are too vague, too overwhelming, too massive. The moment you tell your brain, I need to change my life, it freaks out. Your mind doesn't know where to start, so instead of starting, it freezes. That paralysis becomes procrastination, and before you know it, another day is wasted. Now imagine you're staring at a mountain. You look up and think, there's no way I can climb that. So you sit at the bottom and wait. Wait for courage, wait for motivation, wait for someone to guide you. But nothing happens. The mountain doesn't get smaller. You just stay stuck. That's how big goals feel when you haven't broken them down. But if someone said, take one step, now another. Just focus on the next rock, the next grip. Suddenly it becomes manageable. You're not thinking about the peak. You're thinking about the step right in front of you. And that's the key. When you break your goals into brutally simple, stupidly small chunks, you remove the emotional resistance. Your brain stops panicking. The task is no longer write a book. It's write 200 words. It's not start a business. It's research for 30 minutes. It's not fix my entire life. It's get up, make the bed, and hit the gym. Simplicity fuels action. Complexity breeds hesitation. The simpler the step, the faster you move. People who win in life don't wait until they feel like doing something. They design systems so simple that the path of least resistance becomes action. That's what high performers understand. It's not about willpower, it's about structure. Willpower fades. Energy runs out. But if you've broken your goal into small, crystal clear actions, you no longer rely on motivation, you rely on motion. That momentum, even if it starts small, becomes addictive. You finish one small task and your brain gets a hit of dopamine. That win makes you want the next one. And before you know it, you're deep into the work. Here's what you need to do. Take the thing you've been avoiding and cut it down to its core. Ruthlessly simplify it. If a task feels heavy, slice it in half, then slice it again. Ask yourself, what is the next micro action I can take that requires no thinking, no decision making, just movement? Then do that immediately. Stop overanalyzing. Stop waiting for a perfect strategy. You don't need perfect. You need progress. Tiny steps executed with brutal consistency will beat big plans that never get done. And don't romanticize productivity. Don't wait for the stars to align. Get practical. Use timers. Use checklists. Use anything that keeps your brain from drifting. Chunk your day into sessions. If you're stuck, change your environment. Set up triggers that force you to act. You are not above needing structure. You are not too smart to need simplicity. If you were crushing it without it, you wouldn't be reading this. So forget the mountain. Forget the end goal. All you need to think about is the next brutally simple step. One move. One click. One sentence. That's how you kill procrastination. Not by dreaming big, but by acting small. Repeatedly, relentlessly, without excuse, without emotion. That's how real progress begins. Discipline isn't some magical trait reserved for a chosen few. It's a decision. It's a mindset. It's the internal contract you sign with yourself that says, I do what needs to be done, whether I feel like it or not. Most people don't fail because they lack talent, skill, or intelligence. They fail because they lack discipline. They get caught in the trap of emotion. If it feels hard, they stop. If it's uncomfortable, they delay. If motivation dips, so does their effort. That's not how winners think. Discipline means showing up even when it sucks. It means keeping your word to yourself when nobody's watching, when no one's clapping, when no reward is in sight. That's where real growth begins. You don't rise by doing things when it's easy. You rise by doing things when it's brutally inconvenient. You go to the gym when you're tired. You work when you'd rather sleep. You study when distractions are calling your name. And every time you override the impulse to quit, you're strengthening your mind. Discipline is a muscle. If you never train it, it never grows. But if you use it daily, if you consistently choose what's right over what's easy, you become unstoppable. And let's be honest, discipline is rare because it's boring. It's not flashy. It's not Instagrammable. It's not a highlight reel. It's waking up before the sun, grinding in silence, repeating the same routines, mastering the basics over and over again. It's the exact opposite of what weak minds crave. Variety, excitement, instant gratification. But success doesn't care about your feelings. It rewards consistency. It rewards the one who shows up regardless of how he feels. That's what separates amateurs from professionals. Emotion versus execution. There will be days when nothing goes your way. Days when your mind tries to negotiate. Just skip today. You've worked hard enough. One time won't hurt. That's when discipline kicks in. That's when your inner voice says, shut up, do it anyway. Discipline is about overriding comfort with commitment. It's the relentless drive to honor your goals, even when the world around you is full of excuses and shortcuts. You can't build a legacy off emotion. You can't build greatness off feelings. Discipline is the fuel that carries you through the days when everything feels heavy. And the truth is, once you start living with discipline, your whole identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as average. You start seeing yourself as someone who finishes what they start. Someone who doesn't back down. Someone who handles pressure like it's nothing. That's power. You want freedom, then build discipline. You want confidence, discipline gives it to you. Every time you choose action over laziness, your self-respect grows. Every time you show up when you didn't want to, your mindset hardens. The world doesn't hand success to the talented. It hands it to the disciplined. Talent fades, motivation fades, but discipline, that lasts, that sustains, that builds empires. So don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for motivation to save you. That's a losing game. Start acting like the version of you that already has everything you want. Show up like your future depends on it, because it does. That's the standard. No pity, no softness, no compromise, just relentless execution. That's discipline. That's the edge. That's how you win. Time doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't pause when you're tired. It doesn't rewind when you mess up. It doesn't wait for you to get motivated or in the mood. Every second that passes is either making you stronger or making you weaker. That's the brutal reality most people ignore. They waste time like they own it. They scroll, they delay, they talk big and act small, then complain when their life doesn't change. But here's the truth: time is the most ruthless currency. You don't spend it. You trade it for progress or for pleasure, for action or avoidance. Every hour you let slip is an hour you'll never get back. And the longer you stay in that loop, the harder it becomes to break out. The successful understand something you don't. They guard their time like their life depends on it, because it does. They know every minute spent procrastinating is a minute stolen from the future they're trying to build. They schedule their days like a machine. No wasted motion, no gaps, no room for distraction. They treat every task like it matters, because it does. That's the difference. They don't view time as infinite. They view it as fire. It can burn you or it can forge you. But it doesn't sit idle. You need to stop acting like you have forever. You don't. Your dreams are dying with every delay. You think tomorrow is guaranteed? It's not. You think one more hour on your phone won't matter. It does. The compound effect of wasted time is brutal. One skipped task becomes a day lost. One day lost becomes a week of no momentum. Before you know it, a year is gone and nothing in your life has changed. You're still stuck, still complaining, still waiting for some magical shift. But that shift doesn't come unless you create it. The harsh truth: nobody is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your mentor, not your idols. You've got 24 hours like everyone else. What you do with them defines who you become. So if you're broke, stuck, or unfulfilled, stop blaming the world. Start taking ownership of your hours. Wake up earlier. Cut the dead weight. Remove distractions. Build a schedule that forces growth. Treat time like it's more valuable than money, because it is. Money can be earned back. Time can't. And don't confuse being busy with being productive. Filling your calendar with nonsense tasks is just a clever form of procrastination. Real work moves the needle. Real effort feels uncomfortable. If your days are easy, your results will be small. But if your schedule makes you sweat, makes you stretch, makes you operate under pressure, then you're doing it right. That's how champions are built. Not in the comfort zone, but in the hours nobody sees. In the time you could have wasted, but didn't. So ask yourself, how much longer are you going to disrespect your time? How many more days will you let slip into mediocrity? How many dreams are you going to sacrifice on the altar of laziness? Because whether you realize it or not, your future is being decided right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, every choice you make either feeds your growth or fuels your regret. So pick wisely. Time doesn't care about you, But if you start caring about it, you'll build a life most people only fantasize about. The moment you realize nobody is coming to save you is the moment everything changes. That harsh truth. It's not meant to break you. It's meant to wake you up. You've been conditioned your whole life to wait for someone else to push you. Teachers, bosses, parents, they all played a role in shaping that dependence. You were rewarded for following orders, for waiting, for asking permission. But in the real world, no one hands you permission. No one hands you success. No one's knocking on your door to drag you to greatness. You want something. Go take it. You want change. Be the force behind it. If you're waiting for a hero, look in the mirror. That's the only person who's going to get you out of this mess. The cold reality is this life doesn't care about your potential, your background, or your good intentions. It only responds to action. You can cry, complain, journal, meditate. None of that means a thing if you're not moving forward. If your life is stagnant, it's not because of bad luck. It's because of a bad pattern. You keep looking outside for solutions that only exist inside. You keep hoping someone will give you a shortcut, a plan, a push. But what you really need is pressure. The kind of pressure that forces evolution. The kind that makes you uncomfortable enough to finally move. People talk about accountability like it's optional. It's not. You either hold yourself to a standard or you rot in excuses. And let me be blunt. Most people love their excuses. They treat them like comfort blankets. I don't have time. I'm too tired. It's not the right moment. That's weakness talking. That's your soft side trying to keep you average. And as long as you listen to it, your life will stay small. But when you stop negotiating with your weaknesses, everything changes. When you stop outsourcing responsibility, you take back power. You become dangerous. You become someone who can't be stopped. You've got to be brutally honest with yourself. If you're not where you want to be, it's because you haven't demanded more from yourself. You've let comfort win. You've made procrastination a habit. And no, you don't need more motivation. You need a standard, a line in the sand, a commitment to never settle again. Nobody's going to drag you out of bed, slap the phone out of your hand, and force you to chase your dreams. That has to come from you, from your hunger, from your decision to stop living like a victim. And here's the beautiful part. Once you take full ownership, you become unstoppable. You stop blaming the economy, your past, your environment. You start building habits, systems, routines that push you every day. You start becoming the kind of person who gets results, not because of luck, but because of relentless execution. No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more someday. Just action. Relentless, unapologetic action. You've wasted enough time hoping someone would believe in you. It's time to believe in you. It's time to become your own savior, your own motivator, your own engine. Because the second you stop waiting and start doing, life opens up, opportunities appear. Momentum builds, confidence skyrockets, and suddenly the world starts responding to you differently, not because it changed, but because you did. So stop expecting rescue. Stop waiting for signs. There are no signs. There is only you in the work, you in the decision, you in the grind. Take responsibility. Embrace pressure. Force your own evolution. Because once you do, there's no turning back. You'll become the kind of person who doesn't flinch, doesn't quit, doesn't negotiate with fear. You'll become your own hero. And that's the most powerful thing you can ever be.